Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about confidence today. Confidence is not what people think. It's not about speaking the loudest, looking the best, or having all the answers. It's also not about never having any doubt or never making any mistakes, because real confidence is way more quiet. It is way more subtle. And it doesn't try too hard because it doesn't need to. And if you're struggling with confidence, it's not because you lack confidence, but because you have been looking for it in the wrong places. Let's talk about the psychology behind confidence first. Confidence is not loud. It is the absence of having to prove yourself. Let me ask you this. When you picture a confident person, what do you picture? Do you picture someone who walks in and grabs all the attention and speaks first? Someone who dominates the conversation, makes jokes, and owns the space? I think that would be the definition for most people when it comes to a confident person. But the thing is, this is not real, true confidence. This is just social confidence. And social confidence is a skill that you can learn, but it's not a proof for real self-assurance. If you want to find out who the really confident people are in a room, look for those who speak after they think, not just those who want to be heard. The ones that move without hesitating instead of those who want to be seen. Because those people who don't feel the need to prove themselves to anyone or anything, these are the ones who actually have the real confidence. Most people struggle with confidence because they were trained to look outwards for it instead of inwards. From childhood on, we were trained to look for external reference points for our grades, opinions, and validations. And that is a trap, because then your confidence is based on external factors. And that is why so many people are still insecure, even those who are extremely attractive or extremely successful, because they always outsource their confidence. But truly confident people, on the other hand, they use an internal reference system instead of an external reference system. They don't ask, do they think I'm good enough? They ask, am I good enough for myself? Because the only approval that matters to them is their own. If they liked the way they showed up, then that's enough for them. Confident people don't look for external confirmation. They trust themselves first. And that brings us to the first important shift that you have to make in order to build confidence. The first point is the ability to make decisions and the ability to trust those decisions. One of the biggest mistakes people make is to assume that confident people are always right. That is not the case. Confident people are always certain. Let's clarify certainty. Certainty doesn't mean that you speak impulsively and just say whatever you think in that moment. It means that you have the ability to trust yourself, that even if you are wrong, you will take full ownership of whatever you have said or whatever you have decided to do. And that is the key here. They trust themselves enough that even if things go south, they are able to handle it. And that is the biggest problem here, because a lot of people always second guess themselves. They ask 5 different people for their opinions if they should do something or not. They overanalyze everything before they take action. Here's the problem. The more you hesitate, the more you reinforce your own belief that you are not able to handle things by yourself. There is a balance on how long you want to think before you execute. And this is why decision making trains your confidence, because it builds your own trust on being able to handle life by yourself. Because if you cannot trust yourself with small decisions, how are you going to be able to make the big ones? If you constantly ask other people, you will train your brain into believing that other people's opinion matter more than your own opinion. And of course, over time, your self-assurance and your self-trust will just fade away, because your mind will always start looking for outward external reference systems and outward guidance instead of looking into yourself for your inward guidance. And that is where the gut feeling comes into play. The gut feeling is part of your inner guidance, and it's something that needs to be trained. It's not something that people just get born with and people just know and they start listening to it. You have to train your gut feeling like a muscle, and you train it by making decisions, taking actions, and then just seeing however things unfold. There is a reason why people say that you cannot make a wrong decision, because even when you make a wrong decision, your brain will learn, your nervous system will adapt. You're going to become someone who doesn't panic when times are uncertain or things are going south, because you have trained yourself to be able to handle those situations. Some people may know it already, but I've been a sales coach for 4.5 years. I was completely self-employed doing that, and part of being a sales coach also meant to build up sales leadership. And in leadership, there was always one important aspect that I always highlighted, and it was the ability to make decisions fast. The way I've trained them in decision making is, first of all, to make them understand that there are small decisions in life and big decisions in life. Small decisions are, what am I gonna wear? What am I gonna eat? Big decisions are, am I gonna marry that person? Should I build a house? Or things like that. For the small decisions, I gave them 3 seconds of time before they have to make a decision. I would literally count it down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I want the green tea. You know, things like that. These are small decisions. You don't need to overthink them. Big decisions, on the other hand, you can give yourself a certain time frame, let's say until end of this week or end of this month. You gather all the information until then, and when the time comes, you make the decision and you trust yourself that you have enough information to make the right decision. If it wasn't the right decision, you have to know that you made the right decision based on what you knew in that specific moment, which is okay. Because real confidence isn't about thinking that you're going to be right every single time. It's about the trust and the belief in yourself that even if things go wrong, you are able to handle it. Let's talk about the third important aspect of confidence. It is your energy, your presence. Energy introduces you before you even say a single word. That is why the same two people can say the exact same sentence and one of them will demand all the attention while the other one gets completely ignored. This is also why when sometimes someone walks into a room, you just feel the specific presence. You just know they are important and that people will listen to them. Confidence isn't just about what you say or how you look, but it's about the energy that you bring into every interaction. And energy is the thing that doesn't lie. There are so many people who are extremely successful in what they do, but they still radiate very insecure energy. There are people who are famous, who are successful, who are rich. They walk into a room and they still feel insecure. That's because confidence isn't built on how other people perceive you, but it's about how you carry yourself. Real reputation isn't built on what you have achieved, but how people feel around you in your interactions. It doesn't really matter how smart or how accomplished you are. If your energy screams, I'm insecure, I lack confidence, I need external validation, then people will sense it. When your energy is solid, it won't matter what you wear or what you say or how conventionally attractive you are, you will become magnetic. And since we're already talking about the topic of being magnetic, this automatically intersects with the topic of outward appearance. There's a common misconception that people believe that when a woman wears makeup or she dresses in a specific way or whatsoever, it means that they're insecure. That if you had true confidence, then your outer appearance wouldn't matter at all. This is wrong to a certain extent. Let me explain the extent. Insecure people will use their beauty to feel worthy. But truly confident people, they use beauty as an enhancement and their worth is already solid. A truly confident person can look at themselves in the mirror without any makeup, in sweatpants, no filters whatsoever, and still feel like a goddamn masterpiece. But they understand that presentation matters in a world that is built on perception. Throughout history, the most powerful people understood that beauty is an advantage, not a weakness. But the thing is, they used it without being dependent on it. They enhanced their beauty because it's an extension of their power, not the single source of it. They never let beauty determine their value because their energy did that. And they always carry themselves in the same self-respecting way, whether they're in full glam or they're in sweatpants. Looks will fade away and your body will change, but if your confidence is rooted not in how the way you look, but in who you are, you will always be powerful. And the last point, apart from speaking well, dressing well, and presenting yourself in a good way, is actually the most powerful of them all. It is being so deeply self-aware that no one can use your flaws against you. And this is the biggest misconception when it comes to confidence, because a lot of people think that someone who is confident is someone who doesn't have any flaws, but that's not true. Real confidence doesn't come from perfection, it comes from self-awareness. Because criticism only hurts when it's something that you're insecure about. Manipulation only works when you're not strong enough to see through it, and rejection is only hurtful because you define your worth based on that. So the real reason why people break down when they get criticized or rejected is because they weren't prepared for that. They didn't expect it. They have never even faced their own flaws yet. And that is the reason why it hurts so much. The most insecure people are those that get triggered the most easily. They get very reactive, and those are also the ones that people can easily manipulate. Truly confident people have faced every version of themselves already. They have done very, very deep work to know all of their weaknesses, and those are the ones who are unaffected by other people's opinion. Because if you know your weaknesses already, who the hell can use them against you? Confidence isn't something you wait for. It is literally something that you have to build day by day. Every time you hesitate, you train your mind that you're going to doubt yourself. But every time you take action and make a decision, you train your mind to trust yourself. So stop waiting for permission, stop shrinking yourself, and stop waiting for other people's approval. Decide right now that from now on, you're going to move like the person you want to become one day. Because when you do that, the world will believe in that too. See you next time.